I hope she's all right. I don't think we should descend to a point where we wish bad health on anybody. But it's a little disturbing, partly because she has to have access to the best doctors in the world. And I would think that they would be working very hard to find some way to cope with this, depending on what's causing it. I remember years ago, Bill had acid reflux and really messed up his voice for a while. And of course, nowadays you just take an over-the-counter medicine, and it basically controls it. But he and I talked one time about 95 or so, when I was speaker and he was president. And he'd really gone through a period where he had his coughing attacks, and and it turned out all to be caused by acid reflux. Her coughs are much deeper than his and last much longer, so I don't know what her problem is. But I would think both for her own health and to reassure the country that she ought to do something about this. And I'm really surprised that her doctors have not.
It lasted for 4 minutes and 22 seconds this weekend. I mean, this is not. Look, I've had issues with my voice. I mean, this is my job, and especially when I go out and I do radio, TV, and speeches, I tend to, over a period of time, if I'm out on the road quite a bit, I'll lose my voice, and it's a pretty scary thing if that's how you make your living. But you've got a lot of prominent doctors now that have raised questions about this. Poor Dr. Drew over at CNN raising questions about the treatment based on the public records that are out there. He happens to be a really bright man and a good doctor and somebody that I respect a lot. He ended up getting fired by CNN for daring to raise the question. I mean, I think we need to know if she's healthy. She doesn't seem to have a lot of energy. If she had that bad of a concussion that she can't remember, I think we have a right to know if there's any other damage in there, right?
No. Yeah, and I think the whole question is re-raised by the fact that she is quoting her concussion as an example of why she can't remember things. Well, has that recovered? Does she now have a better memory than she used to? Was it only this period involving her emails that she had a bad memory? I mean, there's a lot of questions that come out of all this, I think, that are kind of weird, frankly.
Yeah, look, I tend to think so. Now, we also have, finally, Republicans. I've been a little aggravated, as you know, with Speaker Ryan, but now I think he's focused finally on the right target here. He took a swipe at the FBI, as have others, and accused the agency and their officials of acting like political operators after they released this unflattering Hillary Clinton report just before this 3-day holiday weekend. It seems like they did it on purpose. I would expect this from a political campaign. There was a Scripps News piece that Clinton charities were ignoring the law that requires them to disclose millions of dollars from foreign donors. And it seems that every day there's another controversy involving the Clintons and them selling out their office, which goes back to your earlier comment that I mentioned today, and that is, in a normal society, the Clintons would be ostracized as totally unpatriotic scammers.
Well, I also noticed in terms of this New York thing that apparently it's very clear that this is just a plain-out violation of New York state law. So it'll be very interesting to see how the Attorney General of New York, who's been very aggressive with other people, whether or not he's going to be very aggressive with the Clinton Foundation. And you have to ask yourself, I mean, how can these people think that they can just flagrantly violate the law? I mean, they're surrounded by lawyers, so it can't be that they're ignorant of the law. I think they just made a decision. They didn't want to indicate how many foreigners that they were getting money from.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me. All right, so let's talk about why has Donald Trump been successful the last 3.5 weeks. I have my theory. Number one, he's not involved with extraneous discussions with people that are not the focus of this campaign, like Mr. Khan or Judge Curiel or anybody else. He seems focused on Hillary and Obama and their failed policies. I like the fact that he's on teleprompter. I think he's good at it. I think he's sharp. I think he's staying on message, and I think he's laying out his differing vision for the future of the country. And I think he's doing a very good job of prosecuting the case against Obama and Clinton. And I think that discipline in and of itself is now convincing people that he's taking pretty bold chances. I mean, I think going to Mexico definitely had a risk to it, but he did it anyway, and he handled himself well. And I think people now could see him in an environment where, you know what, being strong, he can also be presidential.
Well, I think it was quite striking that he, first of all, when he was standing there on the same stage with the president of Mexico, it was quite clear that he was capable, more than capable, of playing the role of president, and that he seemed perfectly natural in that role. So I think that was very helpful to him. At the same time, he stuck to his guns on immigration, which has been one of his most powerful issues, and indicated clearly that while he wanted to work with Mexico, he was not going to, in fact, give in. I also think you're right that the discipline of the script has helped. And now
you sound like Hillary. Can I get you a drink of water or anything? By the way, yours didn't last 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Thank God. I mean,
yeah. No, I'm in good shape. But at least I'm in better shape than Hillary.
A 3-second cough does not equate to a 4 minute and 20-second cough.
That's true. But I'm a little bit like you, and I fly so much that my throat dries out.
It does. You have to hydrate big time.
Yeah, so I have to drink, and I use Ricola, just cough drops. So
Ricola, yeah.
Ricola,
yeah. I got it. All right.
However it's pronounced. Anyway, I mean, I